Sunny, not quite as warm, also not quite as breezy, a high near 43. That's the forecast on the mighty 1630 KCJJ. Currently, it's 21 degrees.
Good morning to you at 7:31. Captain Steve, Jim Hunter, David Fine is here from the Heartlanders.
Yep.
Having a much better season than the Hawkeyes.
Yes, so far.
Bad.
Yeah, well, that happens sometimes. But you guys, David, just got off a 3-game road trip. You played Kalamazoo, right, and then Toledo for 2 games.
That's right. And it's one thing to say you're doing it as the communications guy and the broadcaster, but the guy we have with us played in all 3 games and might have a few bumps and bruises to talk about it. So, yeah.
Jonny Sorenson, excuse me, has joined us for the first time, and you're relatively new with the team?
Yep, yeah, rookie this year. I came last year after my college season for about 15 games, but pretty much new to the team.
And where did you skate in college?
I played 3 years at the University of Minnesota and then transferred up to Alaska for 2 years to play for the University of Alaska Fairbanks.
Did you like playing up there?
Yeah, it was cool. I played a year of junior hockey there too, so I was familiar with the area.
Now, are you a Minnesota native?
Yeah.
Okay. So I saw the Twins cap. That was probably a dead giveaway, but you got to check sometimes. But you guys, you've been playing in most of the games and putting in some significant minutes and contributing to the team's success.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. I'm loving every second so far, loving the guys and the staff, and we've been having some team success as well, so it's been great.
Jim, you missed the most obvious question to Johnny, which is how much sunlight would Fairbanks, Alaska be getting in January, and how cold would it be? You skipped right over that, and I'm a little disappointed in you. Because a year ago, he probably was seeing how many hours of sunshine a day in mid-late January?
It's increasing every day right now up there, so it's probably up to about 3 hours, 2 hours maybe right now.
Of just sun?
Yeah.
That's all, 2 hours of daylight, that's it?
Yeah, probably like 5 actually by the end of January, but...
Doesn't that drive the locals crazy? There are a lot of crazy people in Alaska.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of crazy people up there for sure. I probably was one of them during the middle of it.
That's why it's good to play hockey, because you get to, if you feel crazy, you can just go out on the ice and
Exactly.
Well, the summer must be outstanding up there. Did you summer up there too?
Yeah, I went one summer. It's unbelievable.
You're playing golf at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, yep. And there's a midnight sun baseball game tradition they do where the first pitch is at midnight. So
that's cool.
Pretty cool.
That's cool. So far this year, you've amassed 7 goals and 11 assists, and the team's doing real well. And you guys have 3 home games this weekend.
Yeah, 3 home games versus Kalamazoo this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, he nailed it. He's been looking at the promo schedule too. We're pumped. Finally. I'm going to say finally, this is the 6th straight week we're playing on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is a lot for the guys. It's 3 straight days. You're basically playing 3 games in less than 48 hours.
Right, and you've got a quick turnaround from Saturday night to Sunday. There's always a Sunday. Afternoon games are usually, or Sunday games are usually afternoon games, so you can get back or travel right after.
Unless you're coming from Toledo, which is why we got back at 3 in the morning, where they decide to start at 5:30 p.m. almost. But yes, no, you nailed it. Getaway day on Sunday. So for the guys, for the players, we're home this week, and then it settles down just a little bit. It's more like Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, which is so much easier for everyone. If you have to travel from a Wednesday game to a Friday game, you obviously can take your time a little bit easier, and that's one of the things that is sort of going to be a little bit nice after this weekend, is that it just gives you that extra day or two to reset. And it's still a lot of the players playing hockey, but for this weekend, home Friday, Saturday, and Sunday against Kalamazoo. Friday is Educator Appreciation Day. We're having a buy one, get one ticket offer for any educator, and some proceeds will go back to the Iowa City Community School District. On Saturday's Women in Sports Night, we have 2 players coming down from, there's the Minnesota Frost, which is the professional women's hockey league up in St. Paul. They do wonderful up there. We have 2 players from the women's professional hockey team coming down for a Hockey 101 session on Saturday to sort of tell them about what they're about and also help teach some aspiring young women and just anyone that wants to come before the game to teach them a little bit about the game and their experiences. And there's going to be Heartlanders players and coaches on the ice as well for that. And then on Sunday, no better tradition in Sunday than a post-game skate after 3 games in a row. So fans can get out on the ice, bring their skates, and come on out for Sunday afternoon. So we're really excited for a great weekend. And the Kalamazoo Wings are in town, which is a division rival. And there's every time these teams play, and Johnny, you're kind of new to it, but I just saw them a little bit at the end of last year, which is different than the previous bit of years. Like every game is either tied or it's a 1-goal game in the third period, which I really hope for the nerve level doesn't necessarily happen, and the Heartlanders get some nice wins this weekend. But every one of these games, including the one we've played against them this year, is always a tight game.
Johnny, is it easier with that Friday, Saturday, Sunday schedule to do it at home than it is on the road?
A lot easier, especially after the Sunday game.
Oh yeah, sure, because you don't have to travel really.
Yeah, but either way, those 3 games in 3 days are pretty tough.
I would imagine.
That's kind of one of the things I've been trying to navigate, how to kind of prepare the body, because you don't really see that in college unless it's playoffs.
Was it once or twice a week you play?
Yeah, twice a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and obviously you're one of the best college players, but then you get it thrown into a league where there are nothing but the best players,
right?
And you got to try to navigate your role as on the team, and when you go to a game, if you haven't been to a game, it's amazing how short a time players spend on the ice before they're recycled, so to speak.
Line change,
yeah, line change, because it's hard work skating like that and being physical like that for 3-4 minutes at a time, probably at the most, right?
Like 40 seconds to a minute at a time sometimes, too. And that's, you always hear coaches say short shifts, like take a short shift, because they don't want you to be out there and get caught out there, and all of a sudden it's tougher to move. So you're probably out there for 45 seconds to a minute. And imagine you're going from, you're resting. The second you hop on the ice, you are in a full-on sprint. Right. Doing whatever you can for the most part. You're sprinting mentally and physically for 45 seconds to positively affect what's going on the ice. I can't imagine how you guys do it, honestly.
That's what impressed me the most about seeing the game in person the first time. Not only the speed and the talent of all the players, but the fact that they're moving players in and out all the time, and that's something the coaches need to take credit for, because to get the right lines out there, the right guys at the right time, make sure they're rested enough so that when they need them, they're ready. And that's got to be fun, for a little bit exciting for you too, because you're into the game so much, and all of a sudden you're off the ice and you're still pumped up and you're waiting for your next round to go in, right?
Oh, for sure. I think the most unique thing about hockey is how hard it is to prepare for the season, because there's nothing like hockey shape, we call it, game shape. You can bike, you can sprint, you can train, but once you hit the ice for the first time in a game, your wind is not what you thought it was.
Right. I mean, you could probably skate into a wall a couple of times to get used to the physical aspects of it, but that probably is not a great idea. But you're pretty beat up by the time you get done with your first few weeks of the season, or first few months, I would imagine. How do you recover after a long weekend, or do you do hot tub therapy or ice tub therapy or chiropractic treatments, or what do you do?
Get a woman.
Ice tub therapy has been huge for me, but I think still figuring it out is a big part of the process.
Sure.
That's been the difference from college to here. Is college, we had a lot of things provided for us. Now that you're a pro, it's provided, but you have to know what to do on your own to do it. Like, it's not going to be a team mandated thing. It's going to be, what are you going to do to go in?
Whatever works for you, right?
Right, exactly. So I think a lot of stretching is kind of the thing that I've been learning to do. Our trainer's been getting on me a little bit for that, because I've been getting pretty stiff lately after the 3 games in 3 days, and I don't really enjoy stretching that much. But obviously that's a huge part of the body. But kind of like what you said, the ice tub therapy has been awesome for me. I wasn't really familiar with it, but been exploring that, and it's been awesome. Just staying healthy. I mean, the cliche saying, the best ability is availability, and I just want to be available every game.
It's so interesting to me, too, because we were talking with Heartlanders head coach Derek Damon last week, and there's really not that many full team practices left this season. You think it's the end of January, like the season is only half over, but because of the number of games these guys play, I think what has been a really positive thing this year is Derek and then Kevin Schmidt is our assistant coach who was just here a couple weeks ago, you guys remember, and letting the guys kind of determine their own path of when they need an off day or when they might need an optional skate. So like today is an optional skate for the players, not a mandatory full team skate. If guys want to go out, if they feel like they want to work on some things or, get a little bit of work in or just stretch the legs a little bit, I guess, get on the ice, that's great. But hey, there's been so many games, 15 games basically in less than a calendar month. So for the guys to be able to do what they want today, Johnny, I'm not even sure if you're going to go on the ice today, and it's like a no judgment thing either this year. It's a very much like you guys are playing well, third in the division, just behind second place. Like you guys determine what you think is best, and it's not like a coach is sitting there looking at you thinking one thing or the other. It's like, hey, you need the rest. You've been playing a lot of games. Take the time you need to get yourself right, which I think is really a positive thing for you guys.
Yeah, and I think a huge part of our success as well has been how transparent the coaches have been too. They'll tell us that they're not saying that they're looking over our shoulder, making sure we're trying to get on the ice. They want to make sure that we know that we can take rest days if we want. If it's an off day, they want us to do whatever is best for our body, which has been awesome.
What part of your game do you think you need to improve on most as you've gotten to this stage of the season?
I think consistency and trying to find my confidence. I think when I'm playing with confidence, it's been going well for me, and I have shown games where I've kind of shown that confidence and it's come out, and I'll even say to myself, like, why can't I keep that up every game? And then there's some games where I think I just kind of lose it a little bit, get a little scared, maybe
intimidated.
Intimidated by maybe not so who we're playing against, but just like the atmosphere, the moment a little bit, which has kind of surprised me because I've played in big games in college. But yeah, I've just been trying to figure out how to work with that consistency. I actually was talking to Coach about it a little bit too, just trying to pick his brain because he was a player as well and see if he's ever struggled with that aspect. And yeah, I was trying to find that consistency and confidence.
Yeah, coaches have said some of the best motivation you can give to a player is dealing with that is, we've got you on the team for a reason. We think you're good enough to be here, and you need to, to know that we think you're good enough. So if that can help you in any way, that's a good thing.
He says this, and then he has the only hat trick on the team this season. So
well, that was a game of confidence.
Was that against Kalamazoo? I don't remember. Or Tahoe.
Tahoe, yeah.
Yeah, a few weeks ago against the team from Tahoe. So right after we had Kevin Schmidt in here, Johnny went and had a hat trick. So
well, good for you. And that's
hockey players hate to talk about individual accomplishments.
Is that right?
They hate to.
They don't like to brag on themselves,
which I love in a way because it shows how team oriented and
very much so.
Those are the players that are still playing at this stage of their career. I mean, you're playing 2 levels below the NHL, all team, which is awesome from a team perspective. From a broadcaster trying to ask guys questions perspective, sometimes you hear a lot of, hey, this guy made a pass to me. Well, then you deked through like 5 guys,
right? But
in Matt Sopp's case for the Heartlanders, and then scored, but.
There is a lot of sportsmanship, and you don't want to sound like you're trying to embarrass the other players when you do stuff like that. But a hat trick is an outstanding accomplishment. Is that your first one in professional hockey?
Yeah, I think it's my first one in probably 8 years since high school hockey.
Okay.
Probably might be my first one ever. I'm honestly not sure.
Yeah, I remember we got you out in the Plays of the Week for that, and I told the person that was doing it like. He doesn't remember the last time he had a hat trick is what I said. And he's like, seriously? Like he wrote back like, seriously? Like not even high school or anything or the game logs? And I was like, no, that's what he told me. So good for you, Johnny. That's awesome. I've never scored a hat trick before for what it's worth. Even outside when I'm shooting on an empty net. So
yeah, I hit 2 homers in a Pony League game, and I went 5 for 5, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. It was the finest moment of my career.
Well, finest of mine was Little League Baseball. I got hit by a pitch 4 times in one game. And my athletic career strangely ended right after that. I had a bruise on my left shoulder, and I was done. So
oh, that's funny. Well, the Heartlanders are home for 3 games this weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. Tickets are still available. And remember, if you want to bring the kids, youth tickets are just $10 online. And you guys are talking about doing a road trip coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, that's right. So thank you for.
I know you obviously will be playing road games, but bringing some fans along.
Yeah, so in early March, we're going to Bloomington, our hated rivals from Central Illinois, not Bloomington, Indiana, Bloomington, Illinois, 3 hours away, right near Peoria, a couple minutes down the road from Peoria. And we've had some really interesting physical. A lot of nonsense happening games against them, and we said, you know what, it's basically, if you on the bus it's 3 or 3.5 hours. Mm-hmm. If you're driving on I-80 yourself, and I'm not encouraging people to go more than a few miles an hour over the speed limit, you can cut it to 2:30 or 2:45. I mean, games at 7 p.m. on March the 8th. We said, why not bring a fan bus out there? So you can find details on Heartlanders' social media. To see what's going on with that. Many of you may have, if you've come to a game, you may have gotten an email from the team saying there's a limited number of spots. We're taking one bus, which can accommodate up to 56 people, and we're going to dominate a section of Grossinger Motors Arena, and we would love to have anyone that wants to come out. We offered it first to our season ticket holders as well, but there's still a few spots that are still out there, still lurking. So if you want to come, the bus will drive you. WinStar bus will drive you out there. Big thanks to WinStar for helping to get the bus out there, and it'll be awesome to have an entire section or two of Heartlanders fans, especially in that hated atmosphere in Bloomington, when we can use a little bit of extra cheers, and I don't have to Bob Euchre it from up in the booth like, "Hey, how you doing?" From Major Leagues. So, it'll be great. Some organic Heartlanders fan road noise, which will be good too.
Yes, absolutely. And road trips like that are, where the bus takes you is great. Especially on the way home after a long night, you can sleep and the bus driver gets you home. Don't have to worry about traffic or anything like that. Just close your eyes and enjoy the rest of the night.
Hop on 74, get up to the Quad Cities. You're an hour from 80, and it'll pick you up and drop you off right at your car. So we're excited for that, and that's about a month and a half from now. But we have plenty of home games coming up then too, and looking forward to having our community out to support a really fun, physical, good team this year.
Yeah, very much so. Johnny, nice to meet you, and hope you have the best of luck in the rest of the season, and good luck to the team as well.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Our weather forecast, sunny and breezy today. Highs around 50, 30 for tonight.